You're on episode 25 of the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast. Hello, my name is Jamie Moore. You can find us on offtheball.com every Wednesday and all the interviews in full on our Off the Ball YouTube channel. Very happy now for our First Division focus on episode 25 to welcome one of the best players in the First Division and probably in the country to our studio. Neil Farrugia, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Great, thanks Neil. Now, UCD, currently top of the First Division table, 7 points clear with 5 games left. You're an Ireland Under 19 international. You're a very clever boy as well, on scholarship in UCD. But your name suggests a little bit of French. So just give us your background as to how you're here and the fact that you could also play for France.
Well, so I was born in Paris, born and raised until I was 7, and we moved over because my mum was Irish and she was kind of looking for a job. So I kind of moved when I was 7, and so French was always in my family. Like with my dad, he's French, so I always taught him French, but English to my mum. So yeah.
So you're fluent in both French and English?
Yeah, French and English. So hopefully one day Spanish. My granny's Spanish on my mum's side. So hopefully one day I'll get fluent in Spanish as well.
So you're telling me in the World Cup in 4 years you could be playing for Ireland, for France or for Spain?
Yeah, Malta as well actually.
Wow, Malta too.
Yeah.
So when you're younger and you're growing up and you're learning to be a footballer and you've got your mum who's Irish and your dad who's French, what language are you speaking? And even now to this day, what language do you speak at home and stuff?
So so my dad will always speak French. So my mum knows French, but she'd always kind of reply in English to my dad. But I speak to my dad in French, speak to my mum in English, and my sister in English. So yeah, my dad speaks my English to my sister in French, but she always responds in English. So I'm kind of like the only one who can respond to him in French, like.
So effectively what Neil is saying here is if there's any translators around who fancy working in the Farrugia household, they could be needed. Now, a translator might have been needed too in a local bar where you live on the night of the World Cup final because yourself and your dad decided you'd go and watch France against Croatia in the World Cup final in the local, and it's fair to say your dad was a little bit excited.
Yeah, no, he was completely. We went to the local pub, and seems like all the Irish people there were supporting Croatia and were obviously supporting the underdogs, and so my dad was like properly supporting the French, standing up for the anthem and all. I was kind of sitting there a bit embarrassed, you know. And then when we won, he kind of just stood up and started thanking everyone. Honestly, quite one of the most embarrassing moments, but it was all good because we won.
What was he like when? Because it was an amazing game.
Yeah.
But when the goalkeeper Hugo Lloris decides to try and be an outfielder in the box and concedes a goal in his own box in the World Cup final, what was your dad like then?
Well, he wasn't surprised because Lloris is actually kind of known to be making mistakes like that. So he's kind of he hadn't made one all throughout the whole tournament. So he wasn't surprised when it happened.
I'm sure he wasn't, but nice to have France as world champions, and as you mentioned, you're also an Ireland Under 19 international. Just give us the background into, before we speak about your time at UCD as a League of Ireland player, just how you became an underage Ireland international, because it's a dream of a lot of young players when they're playing schoolboy to play for your country, and you've managed to do that. Yeah,
it was tough, because it took a while for me to get my first cap. I wasn't really involved in any of the underage before that, the under 17s, or I wasn't involved in any of them. And I was involved in a few Irish camps, and then Tom Owen, who's the manager, decided to bring me to the first qualifiers. And then I didn't start the first game, but then there's an injury. Then so he played me for a second game, and I played well, and so he was confident in me then to put me in against Serbia. And I got the winner as well, so it was all good. But it was probably it was a dream for me always to put on the Irish jersey and to score as well. It's probably one of the best moments that I've had in my career.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that because, as you mentioned, you lived in France for a number of years. You're a France fan as much as an Ireland fan in terms of watching the football. You could end up playing for France as well, but to be able to play for Ireland, having lived here since the age of 6 or 7, it must have been really nice, and I suppose even more special given the fact that you hadn't done it at 15s and 16s and 17s and stuff when a lot of your Irish teammates would have.
Yeah, although I'm French, but all my memories as a kid playing football is in Ireland. So if one day I had to pick between the two, it'd always be Ireland, because when I step on the pitch, although I'm half French, I feel 90% Irish when I'm on the pitch, so that's why it was just so huge for me to play. And as you said, not being involved in any of the underage before the 19s, that it was even bigger because it was just really good, like, you know.
Do you sing Around the Vein when you're representing Ireland, hand on the heart type thing, or no?
I know the start of it, and then it comes towards the end, I get a bit confused with the words, so I kind of just you know, kind of like hum it. Yeah, you know, but I do it, yeah.
I won't ask you for a rendition, but what I do want is just a little bit of French, because we like to sample a bit of culture here on the podcast. Can you just say you're watching the League of Ireland podcast on Off the Ball in French, please? Or something along those lines. And if you're wrong, nobody will know, because nobody's here speaking French.
Je regarde le podcast de Off the Ball avec Jamie Moore. Je suis en train de parler français maintenant. Je ne sais pas trop quoi dire. I mean, I don't really know what to say.
I like it though, yeah. And you have the you put the accent on the French as well, so very nice on the name. So yeah, we'll have to use this as a video promo for the podcast for all the French fans who are going to be fans of this podcast after they've seen you on it, of course. Let's now focus, Neil, on the First Division, which is mainly why we're here. UCD currently top of the table, 7 points clear with 5 games left. A narrow 1-0 win in Athlone last week, a game you played in. 2 previous wins before that, so 3 wins in a row. A good place to be at the minute, a young team. Every one of the UCD players, people may not know, are in college on scholarship. And top of the table looks like could be finishing top and playing Premier League football next year if things continue to go the same.
Yeah, I don't want to speak too soon, but we are playing well and we're on a good momentum right now. Like, although we got a narrow win against Athlone, like, we actually did play well. Like, the first half was tough, but second half, once we got going, we were able to get a lot of chances. And in fairness, their keeper had a great game. So we're at a good spot now, and we're also focused. Like, you know, we've got good momentum. The training camp is good. Like, so it's looking good so far. But don't want to speak too soon. You know, just concentrate on the next game. Of
course, the next game this weekend, the game I'll be at it. Local derby in Dublin. It's UCD against Cabinteely in the UCD Bowl as well. Just in terms of you being a young player, how old are you?
19.
Okay, so 19-year-olds. Not too many of them are playing regular first team football. Now I know you've had quite a serious injury in terms of you had a broken collarbone, happened with Ireland, had to have an operation, you know, there was a little bit of a delay in getting back, but you've been in the team the last number of weeks. What's it like being in a run in a UCD team currently at the top of the league for you as a young player, and you're playing in games now that are really, really important because, as we mentioned, a couple more wins and nobody can catch you?
Yeah, so the first time, you know, you play kind of first team, the only thing on your mind is that you're playing against older players and that you feel you're not as sharp. But then once you get 1 or 2 games in, you can't forget about that and you just concentrate on playing football. And I'm lucky in the way that we're with a really good team. Like, all our players, they're young, but we're all technically really good. So in training, I'll be training a lot with them, so we're able to pass the ball, keep it moving, and when we're on the pitch, you know, that's the only thing I'm thinking of. And so it's definitely good. Like,
yeah, now for people who haven't seen you play, explain to us your style, because earlier on in the podcast spoke to one of the best dribblers of a ball in the history of League of Ireland football, Northern Ireland international, ex-Celtic man, Paddy McCourt. People may have heard of him earlier on. He's saying not enough people now dribble with the ball. You certainly do, and you can run fairly quick too.
Yeah, I think it's all about, you know, dribbling in the right areas and the right time. I would be a big supporter of keeping the ball moving. So, like, if it's not on, then to dribble past someone, then just to keep passing the ball, and it'll be okay. Like, but I do agree that, like, 1v1 situations, I don't feel enough players as well, like, are going 1v1 at players. And I feel I do that well, and it's a big part of my game. Also, just being unpredictable is probably very important as well. Yeah,
where did your skill for being able to run with a ball come from? Because your pace is a huge attribute, but lots of quick players are not very good with the ball in terms of being able to dribble, and that's one of your main attributes. And you've been playing on the right in recent games as well. You're a left footer, but you've been able to dribble inside, and recently a fantastic win at the UCD Bowl where you end up popping the ball across the box for Yo-Yo Maddie to score against Galway, I think, wasn't it? And yeah, that's a really good example, I suppose, of what you can do and what the team can do with, you know, how fluid you guys play.
Yeah, I think, well, for the dribbling part of it, I was never always fast. Like, as a young player, I actually played left back, and so physically I wasn't very strong or fast, so I had to concentrate on my technical ability. And then once, you know, I started, like, developing physically, then I got quicker and faster, but my technical ability stayed. So hence, like, I'm able to run fast but have good ability on the ball as well. And yeah, coming in from the right is good because it's slightly more unpredictable than stay on the left. Because stay on the left, you kind of always want to go down the left, and going inside can be like, coming off my right foot, so it's slightly harder. But on the left, you can go inside and outside. And I actually quite like going outside as well on the right. It's just because they don't expect it at all. And when you're going inside, you're on your left foot, and you can pop passes like I did against Shelburne, just one straight through for Yo-Yo for one around the corner, like just a slip, like. And it's easier to do off the right than it is to do off the left. Yeah,
that goal against Shelburne, I said Galway for some bizarre reason, not too sure why. And your ability to do that makes you stand out, and in recent weeks you have had a couple of quite good performances, and you've been spoken about, and you've done a couple of kind of media interviews and stuff as well. Is that something that you've had to have in your head, that now people are talking about you and looking at you and maybe coming to watch you?
Yeah, like it's definitely, it makes things more interesting. Definitely a bit more nerve-wracking as well, because now people are expecting performances. But the fact that I'm actually enjoying playing at the moment, that's all I'm concentrating on, just enjoying the game, and that the rest will follow, and forget about people watching, just fully just concentrate on enjoying the game, and it'll be fine,
Yeah, and it's an interesting, time of the year for UCD players, because spoke to Greg Sloggett a couple of months ago now at this stage. He was sitting in your seat there, and he was just saying the stress of exams and college football and League of Ireland football at times got the better of him. But now it's a period where the UCD team can almost be full-time. I know, for example, this Wednesday afternoon you're going to train at 4 o'clock. You're going to be able to go to the gym. You're going to be able to train, play Cabinteely on Friday as well. But the sacrifice as well, all of your mates are off around Europe interrailing, and you're seeing Snapchats and Instagram stories from them every day, and you're here in Dublin pursuing your career as a footballer, which is something that people forget about. But in terms of being a UCD footballer, having finished college for the year, it's a great time to focus at a key part of the season. Yeah,
definitely. I can't really relate to Greg at all, because I was actually injured during the period of exams and all, so I can't really relate to that. But I do understand that it does get stressful, football and studies, mentally can be quite exhausting, but yeah, holidays, it's tough because the League of Ireland is during the summer, and obviously then all my mates are away interrailing and just exploring the world, and I'm kind of here in Ireland. But I kind of was thinking that if football's going well, then I don't care where they are or where I am. Just I want to be here playing, because it's none more enjoyable.
Where are they now?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Yeah, just leave them there. I'm going to not even open your Snapchats. Just leave me alone. I'm playing football.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, and you'll be playing this week, as I mentioned, in the bowl against Cabinteely. Just, if you can, assess for me where things will go in the next few games, if you can put your finger on it, because you are 7 points clear after results last weekend. You guys won and draw to who were your closest challengers. Level of points with Finn Harps, only drew with Wexford. So you're 7 clear with 5 games left. In the driving seat, you still need to win matches starting with Cabinteely, but it's a great chance if you can continue to form you're in to get up to the Premier League, and I think it's something that you guys would really enjoy, testing yourself at the next level.
Yeah, I think we're in a great position, but it's also for us to lose it, so we just need to keep going. And so Cabinteely we need to just try to win the games that we should technically win, and then that allows us for errors when it comes to kind of the tougher games, the
other teams in the top 4.
Exactly, Cabinteely home, hopefully we should get a win and stuff but Cove away, for example, that would be tough, and it's good that we have that room for error as well. It makes us slightly less pressurised, we have slightly less pressure than when we go onto the pitch.
Yeah, I spoke to Shane Keegan on the podcast last week, the former Galway manager in Wexford, and I said to him, he thinks like me, UCD will go up, and hopefully you will. And I asked him, and people in UCD won't be happy with this question, but if it's actually good for UCD to go up, given how competitive the Premier League is going to be, and given some of the senior players who are now at the end of college and just finished college may move on. And we both said, listen, the players will want to test in the Premier, but at the same time they'll want to try and keep the likes of your Gary O'Neills, your Greg Sloggett's, your Maxi Cogans, these players who are at the end of their degrees now. What's your assessment of that? Because I'm sure as a 19-year-old, with huge confidence in your own ability, you'd love to go up and play at Tala and play away to Cork and play away to Dundalk and test yourself. But you also, if you do go up, want to make sure that you are competitive.
Yeah, I think if we go up, most players should stay, just because we're in a great position. I think as a young player, you want to play Premier League, in League of Ireland, and there's no better place to do it in UCD. So if they do go to a different club, in the league, there's probably a lesser chance of them, getting game time. Whereas if they stay in UCD, having played for First Division, there's a great chance of them playing. So I don't think the team will change that much. If anything, we might be bringing players in, to strengthen up the squad. But yeah.
Yeah, which would be great, of course, as well. Neil, final couple of questions. The education, in UCD is hugely important, and I mentioned earlier on having a joke that you're a clever guy, but you actually are a clever guy. Just, talk us through your Leaving Cert, what you got and what you're studying now in college, because you have made a choice to go to UCD based not just on the geography of where you live, but on the pathway that gives you of education and football combined. And you have had some trials in the UK, and again, you've made a decision yourself. No, I'm actually going to stay here, I'm going to play football, and I'm going to go to college. Just tell me a little bit about the education side of things.
Yeah, so I think in the family, my mum and I has always pushed me for education more so than football, and even myself, I actually quite enjoyed it. So in the Leaving Cert, I got 6.1 points, and then I managed to get into biomedical science, which is something I wanted to do. It was my first choice. So it's just kind of medicine related stuff, kind of research the biology, the human body. It's really interesting stuff. And I think it's good, it's a good balance between football and education, because just, let's say football isn't going well, you always have the education part of things to take your mind off things, or vice versa. If you fail an exam, you have the football, so the two work well in hand. And it's something I've always done, even with the Leaving Cert and football, so it's kind of just natural for me to keep going. And yeah, when it comes to the UK, I just made a decision to stay here. I just want to be in a better shape to go over. So I just want to get my undergrad finished, and at least with my undergrad I can go into masters when I'm done football, instead of going through the whole undergraduate scheme again. I think it's just a safer option, but since I'm already in the swing of things right now, I don't want to stop it. I only have 2 more years and I'm still really young. I'll be finished when I'm 21 and I'll still be in my prime. So yeah. Yeah,
it's possible as well, if you're still fit and playing well, that you could have 60, 80 caps, or not caps, but appearances in the UCD first team by the age of 21, which again is something that will be very, very good for you. 601 points. How? Explain to me the one. 600, fantastic. I said you're a clever guy, you are, but tell me about 601. How does that work?
Oh, it's the new Leaving Cert.
Okay.
Point system. So it just so happened that the numbers are kind of weird this year and last year. Kind of 577. There's no kind of evens. It's.
Oh, okay. I thought 600 was the top you could get. That's what I aimed for. I didn't get it though.
Oh, 625 is the top.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I was 2 grades away from getting that.
Nice.
Yeah.
But the UK is an ambition, and you've mentioned there about being 21, having a degree, having played 60 or 80 games, and having a chance to go, and that's an ambition for you still. Although if that doesn't work out, it'll leave you in a great place here, which is what UCD is all about, really. That's
it. Yeah. So in 2 years' time. If in 2 years' time I didn't have the level to go over, then I probably wouldn't have the level right now to stay over. So in 2 years' time, I'd be definitely hoping to get some sort of contract away in England or wherever. But yeah, as you said, if there isn't anything there, then League of Ireland is a great place to play football. So that is also a great option. And UCD as well, it's great.
And would you play in France? Would you play in Holland? Would you play, everybody says England, but, places like Holland, Belgium, France, Sweden, up the north, there's so many different places that you could play. Scotland, for example, as well, are all within, stone's throw of where you are currently.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you're right in saying that a lot of people are putting way too much emphasis on the England side of things, but I think it's also just that the majority of scouts coming to watch Irish games are all, from English clubs, and that there is enough from other kind of clubs, from different countries. But I'd love to play in France or something, more so than England, definitely. Just the weather, or just playing in warm weather and in nice weather, or playing where I feel the football could even be better, just more passing. Sometimes maybe the English football is a bit too over the top or whatever, but yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I'm sure your dad would love a career for you in France as well. Neil, I wanted to mention finally the UCD manager, whose name is Collie O'Neill, who works full-time. He's not a full-time football manager, he works full-time. He's just finished his UEFA Pro licence as well, and you guys are on the pitch 3 or 4 times a week. You've got a match, there's stuff in the gym as well. Just tell me about the job he's done. And I really enjoyed listening to him recently, where he said that he doesn't actually need to be there now, that the train is just rolling through, and he just needs to make sure if you guys are motivated that you can go and do your stuff. Just tell me about the job he's done, because UCD weren't fancy to be at the top of the league this season, and currently, as we said, you are with a points difference of +7 above the next teams near you. Yeah, I think Coddy's done a great job. Like he's done a great job getting every player mentally prepared for every match. So like when you go into the pitch, you want to play well, not only for ourselves but for him as well. And he is right in saying that like we're in such good momentum that we can literally just go on and do stuff ourselves. Like he's just there just to keep an eye and just to motivate us. But he's also a type of manager that like would encourage us to play, that if you made a mistake, since he knows we're only young and we're only developing as footballers, that he won't give out. So I do respect that a lot from him, and he is great, to be fair to him. Yeah.
Neil Farrugia, I'm going to try my best French. Merci bien. Thanks for coming in.
that wasn't bad at all.
Cheers, Neil. Thanks. That's episode 25 of the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast. Our chat there with Neil Farrugia. If you missed the rest of the podcast, you can go to the Off the Ball YouTube channel or offtheball.com if you want to hear the audio podcast. We sat down with the new Bray owner and chairman Neill but one of the League of Ireland's best ever players, Celtic legend Paddy McCourt. And we also checked in with the chairman of Drogheda United, Fiachra Kieran's, about the news this week about their brand new 3,000-seater stadium, which is going to be built over the next couple of years. That's offtheball.com or the Off the Ball YouTube channel. And we're back, as always, next Wednesday.